What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Aman. Welcome back to my channel called Forward with Aman. On today's topic, we're going to be talking about how to buy an existing business. All right, so there's a difference between buying an existing business and starting a new business, for example. Starting a brand new business is what I'm talking about, right? But in this case, we're going to be looking at where to find them, right? Like how to look for them, what to look for when you find them, how to look for which category you want to go into, right? My advice, not advice per se, but what I would tell you is probably narrow down 3 categories in which you would like to own a business, right? Because there's so many categories out there that you could explore to become a business owner in. But what you want to do is make sure you write down 3 categories, 3 industries, right? In which you see yourself be a business owner, because that way what I'm going to show you next becomes much easier, because then you can just filter out what you are looking for, right? Because like I said, there are so many places you could look for businesses and you're going to go crazy because there's so many out there, so you don't know what should I choose. There's so many options. So like I said in the beginning, we're going to be talking about which businesses to buy and how to buy an existing business, right? So there's a couple of websites that you can go to, and I'm going to show you guys my top 3 websites. And I'm going to just start by saying the first one, which I believe a lot of people out there use because it's like one of the most popular websites that people go to buy existing businesses. I'm talking about things like convenience stores, liquor stores, car washes, gas stations, laundromats, coin car washes. These are like more absentee owned, where they're just one of those car washes that work on, you just put coins in and the machine starts, or a credit card machine starts, these kind of things. Wineries, right? Like bars, restaurants, franchise businesses, right? Like these could be anywhere from insurance, plumbing businesses. Talk about the food industry, right? You have like ice cream, frozen yogurt, all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to show you guys a website called BizBuySell. And on BizBuySell, here you can see that it starts out by, wanting to ask you like, in which state do you want to buy a business, which, obviously in the US, this is where this is focused on. But I would assume so that in all the countries, it would probably be the same process where you can just go online, some sort of platform that lists businesses for sale. In this case, on BizBuySell, you can see like pick your state, right? Choose your category, and like I said in the beginning, choose 3 categories that you want to focus on, and from those 3 categories, those industries, pick a niche. And in this case, let's look at, for example, car washes on BizBuySell, right? And here you can see, car washes for sale in the state of California, for example. Right, so that's one example. Or let's say you, for example, pick laundromats. Now let's look at laundromats in Florida. Here you can see laundromats in Florida, right? There's not a lot of them probably, but the ones that are available, let's see what the prices are, and so on and so forth. So in this episode, or whatever you want to call it, in this short clip, I just want to focus on showing you where to find them, right? Like how to buy an existing business, where to find them, because there are so many more details, like what should you look for? For example, okay, let's say you find a car wash, right? Like how to value this existing company, right? How to look at the financials. I want to go more in depth on that in a later video, but in this one, I just want to show you the basics, right? Like where to look for an existing business and the steps towards how to buy it, right? We could talk about like net operating income, multiples, right? How this thing is valued. Maybe it's valued like 3 or 4 times the net operating income, right? So if it's a business only, and the reason I say business only, because there's an extinction between business only and business with property. They are valued differently, but let's keep that for another time. In this video, let's just focus on the business only, so without the real estate property, right? What you see across California is businesses being listed anywhere, 4 to 5 times the net operating income, or the EBITDA, earnings before interest, depreciation, amortization, taxes, this kind of stuff, right? Like I said, I would do another video to go in depth on the actual valuation process, the terminologies and stuff. But in this video, I want to keep it basic, quick and efficient, and show you a couple of websites where to find businesses so you get the ball rolling, and kind of like just a quick, little valuation technique. Like for example, if they're asking, $1 million for the business, you want to make sure that you make at least 200,000 to 300,000, in return, because that way it would be valued like four times the earnings, the net earnings, even though that is very high right now. So keep in mind, in the environment that we are living in, that's extremely high. You used to see anywhere 2.5, 3 times the net earnings. So another website is LoopNet. You can go to LoopNet and do the same exact process, right? Like in fact, LoopNet and BizBuySell are very, very similar. The only difference I would say is that LoopNet has a lot more real estate, like commercial and multifamily, apartment buildings, hotels, motels, industrial real estate, all kinds of stuff. And you can do the same exact filtering out process, set your price rates and everything. One more thing I want to tell you guys about is the cap rate. You're going to see this come across a lot. What is a cap rate? A cap rate, it's in basic terms, right? Let's put it in basic terms. A cap rate is basically a valuation technique, right? So let's say you see a cap rate of 5%, right? In this case, it's usually focused on real estate. So cap rate, you will hear that a lot more in the real estate space. So if a 5% cap rate, all that means is that from the listing price, 5% of that is going to be your net operating income, right? So if it's a 10% cap rate, from the listing price, 10% is going to be your net operating income. So this is a little trick that you can remember, but you could always just Google cap rate and then you'll see the formula there, how to calculate it. So let's say, for example, you see a real estate property on LoopNet listed for, $1.5 million somewhere, I don't know, in Florida, for example, right? Now, you're gonna wanna see, what is this cap rate? Like, what is it valued at? And let's say, for example, you see 7.5 cap rate. So now you know, okay, if this is 7.5 cap rate, it means the net operating income is 7.5% of 1.5 million. Hopefully that makes sense. It's just a little valuation technique, right? That's why you hear these people all the time talking about cap rates going down, cap rates going up. They usually follow interest rates. I don't want to make it too complicated. In this video, let's focus on the simple stuff. But hopefully that basic explanation of cap rate made sense. And now let's go on to a next website. You have, for example, a website called BizQuest. BizQuest is, again, a website where you can filter out, look in the industry you want to go at, which business you want to buy, gas station, car wash, convenience stores, restaurant businesses, you name it, right? You could filter out routes, FedEx routes, bread routes, all kinds of stuff. You could filter it out, you could pick the state. Do you want to have something more where you want to be involved in, hands-on, or something from a distance, which is what they call owner absentee? Basically, in other words, that means that you are not going to be as involved into the day-to-day, so you can kind of do it from home, which is becoming more and more popular. So you could kind of pick and choose what kind of business you want to go in, and then from there, there's the valuation process, the negotiation process, the loan process, right? Like, how much are you gonna put down? Are you gonna negotiate to have the seller finance, which means that he is going to carry your loan instead of the bank? These are tricks that you could do. But I want to focus on those tricks in separate videos because, like I said, there's many moving parts to it. But I just want to show you guys a quick little video on how to find and how to buy these businesses as a beginner, right? So hopefully this helped. This is a short video. I kept it as short as possible, but I will go on into more details on like how to value the businesses now that you have found, right? Because this is just to get the ball rolling again, right? For you to start thinking and make a list of what you actually want to buy, and then from there to see if it's roughly valued correctly, because you could research all of that online to see if, for example, laundromat, if they're asking 500,000, right? Okay, based on what is that? What is he earning? What is the net bottom line earnings after all the expenses? What am I saving? Let's say he says that's 150K, or let's do 100K for simple math. That means he's asking 5 times the net income. That's kind of high, right? So maybe you have some negotiation in this field now. You have a negotiation road, right? You could now start to negotiate with the seller and say, hey, listen, man, this is valued way too high. I'm not going to give you 5 times the net earnings. So what I can do is I can give you 3 times the net earning. And then the seller is going to say, hell no, I have plenty of buyers, whatever it might be, right? Depending on what kind of market we are in. But he might come back and say, okay, you know what, I can give it to you for 4 times that. And then you see where this is going, right? At least you start the negotiation process, but this is very, very basic. Of course, there's more to it. You'll have to actually come back to him with an actual, numbers and say, hey, listen, man, based off of this, you're asking 5 times it. I'll offer you this X amount of dollar amount, right? Based on what I think is the fair market value, right? So those are just some things to consider and know when you are looking to buy a business. So hopefully this helps. I'll see you guys in the next one, and where I'll post some more additional details on, terminology and formulas, valuation, this kind of stuff. Hopefully you like it. See you in the next one.